Hello, welcome again to Mr. O'Neill's Art. We're going to go over our first project here, or our first skill, and all that is just coloring things in. I have a little coloring book here. They're pretty common. You can pick one up. Some of them are pretty complex. Some of them are pretty basic. It's a great it's a great way to relieve a little bit of stress or not be bored or find something to kind of take up time for your mind. And something that adults do, something more complicated like this, adults have found that it's pretty good way to relieve some stress and get your mind off things that you might be worrying about. If you're one of my classroom students, you probably have a packet something like this, and that would probably include either on the back page or the second page instructions on how and what colors to color these in. If you're not one of my classroom students, or you didn't get this or don't have this, just take a piece of scrap paper and permanent marker. Make sure you put a piece of paper underneath it so it doesn't get on the furniture. And something that's kind of cool that you can do is just make a bunch of shapes. Make some square shapes and some triangular shapes. I guess that's not a triangle. There's a triangle. Circles of different sizes. And do the whole page like that, and then just take your marker and just start connecting them. And that divides the background, and you can make swirly lines or squiggly lines. That changes the background into a whole series of more shapes. And then you can color those shapes in. So that can be a great way to practice this skill too. And again, practice, it makes us better. So when we go to start coloring things in, a couple things we want to try. One is try to keep everything even darkness, even texture. Try to have it where you can't see a lot of the pencil or crayon strokes. Try not to go outside the lines. I think you see I bumped outside the lines a little bit there. And go the same direction. Notice I'm slowing down when I get to the edge. Just keep control. And just try to keep it, fairly even like that. Now, another technique that we can practice is to go around the entire edge and make it quite dark. And then this is a pretty common technique. Some of you have probably already done this, but that's okay. It's a nice thing to practice, and it gives everything kind of an interesting look. And then once you have the outline done, then just kind of go across the inside of the shape in kind of a nice, even, light color with the same color of colored pencil or crayon. Go in the same direction again and just fill it in like that. Something you don't want to do, and I'll use a crayon for this one, you don't want to just just color every which direction and outside of the lines. I mean, if you think about it, this is what it looks like when we give the crayon or the colored pencil to a younger child that hasn't had a lot of practice. And some of us haven't had a lot of practice. So some of your first shapes might look a little bit like that. But let's try to just focus on these techniques. One more technique I want you to try, and I'll use a green for this one. And that is, instead of going around the edge with dark and then doing the middle light, do the whole shape about as dark as the colored pencil will go. And try to get it all nice and even so you can't see a lot of the pencil strokes. Sometimes you gotta go back over it. Okay? All right, so if you are one of my classroom students, do the page that is worksheet 1 or project 1. Do it to the best of your ability and really try to do a really good job. This isn't about just getting done. This is about doing a really good job. And then see if you can email it to me. My link is on the packet and on the school website, or even hooked to the video. Get that back to me, and maybe I can show it online, and maybe you'll have one of the best ones that anybody's done. So practice that, get better at shading and coloring in evenly, and have fun with your art. We'll see you next video.